Hi, boys and girls, and welcome to your math lesson 11.3. We're going to try it this way again so that I can manipulate some shapes and kind of help you through this lesson. All right, we're talking about making new three-dimensional shapes. It says, how can you use a combined shape to build new shapes? All right, that says draw to copy the shape. All right, down here it says, Leela put a box on top of another box. Draw to copy the new shape Leela made. So here's a big box that she got, and then she put a smaller box on top. We are going to attempt to draw this same thing right here. Now, I know it's going to be a little bit challenging, and remember, I am not the best artist, so please just try and do your best, and don't make fun of my drawings, because I'm not really that good. So, I want to start with the box on the bottom. Okay, this is a rectangular prism. So what shape do you see on this face of the rectangular prism? Yes, I see a rectangle. So I am going to try and copy that rectangle. So I'm going to start with my sides, make it about the same that it's over here. It doesn't have to be, but just try your best. I'm going to go all the way across, make the other line go all the way across, and then connect them. There's the face of this rectangle that I see. Okay? Now, when we have a cube on top, what is the face that we see here? Yes, it's a square. So I'm going to go ahead and put a square on top of my rectangular prism. And now I have to get fancy after this. Okay? So now I'm going to make this little slanted line out like this. And then I'm going to connect it to my square face. Okay, so it's kind of starting to look three-dimensional. All right, so now for my square, I have to do the same thing up here. I have to make some parallel lines, not too long, and then I have to connect them. And my cube is starting to look three-dimensional as well. So from this line, we're going to go down and slant it up. So that somewhat looks now like a three-dimensional cube. And it has to sit on top of my rectangular prism. So I'm going to continue going down, stopping before I get to the bottom, and then slant it up. Now, my drawing is not perfect, but I tried my best, and that's all I ask you to do as well. Try to draw a rectangular prism with a cube on top. Great job, boys and girls. You may turn the page. All right. Now, let's look at the model and draw. First of all, it says we need to build a shape. So what shape do I have here? Yes, I have a cube. So there's my cube. What shape do I have here? Yes, I have a cylinder. And I must have left that in my box. Let me get my cylinder. Okay, here's my cylinder. So I can actually build that shape. Okay, it looks just like that one. Now it says I need to repeat that shape and put them together. Now, if I build something, okay, think about building a house. Do they leave the pieces to where they can be moved apart from each other? No. When they build a house, they nail them together so that it's one new shape. So let's pretend that these two shapes are now glued or nailed together and I cannot take them apart. Okay? All right, so I'm going to repeat this step. Now, it says, circle a new shape you can make and explain why you cannot make the other shape. Well, if you look at this first shape, here's a cube, here's a cube. Well, if I have two, I'm going to repeat it, right? Let me get another cylinder. Okay, so here's my two shapes. Now remember, these two are glued together. I cannot take them apart. I cannot take these apart. So I can make a shape that looks like this. I can make a shape that looks like this. Okay, I can manipulate them any way that I want to, but I cannot take apart the cylinder from the cube. So this first picture shows two cubes, but are the cubes touching each other? No. Are the cylinders on top or below the cube? No, they're not. Remember, when we build our house or rebuild our shape, we have to pretend like it's glued together. So any shape that I put together is going to have to stick like this. Now, they can be upside down like this. I can turn them around like this. I can put them together like this. Or I can put, this is kind of hard to do because they're not stuck together. Or I can put them together like this. All right? Which way can we put these two shapes together that we are not taking them apart? Yes, I'm going to have to set those there. We can make this shape because remember, it doesn't matter if I turn it upside down or not. We started this way, but it doesn't matter if I turn it upside down. And then I have another one that's upside down, and if I put those together, did I make that shape? Yes, I did. Good job. All right, so let's try another one down here at number 1. All right, for this shape, for this new three-dimensional shape, I have a rectangular prism and I have a cone. Okay, so I have built this new shape. Okay, remember now these are supposed to be stuck together like glue. I cannot take them apart. Which one of these shapes can I make by having this shape doubled? Okay, I do not have another example. I do not have a rectangular prism that looks like this. So what I'm going to have to do is show you that if I have a rectangular prism like this, and if I had another one that matched it, and I put it like this and put them together, which one of these shapes would I be making? Yes, I would make this shape. Because remember, even though I'm using 2 rectangular prisms and 2 cones, these are supposed to be stuck like glue. I cannot take them apart. Okay, so you'd have to find the shape that looked like this. All right, let's try it with a different shape. This time, number 2, and I have these. I have a cube and I have a cone. All right, now I've built that 3-dimensional shape. Okay, now remember, we're supposed to pretend that they are stuck like glue and I cannot pull them apart. Okay, let me do another cone. So if I build it again, I have another cube and I'd have another cone on top. All right, it's going to look like that, or I could put them together like that, or I could do that. There's lots of different ways I can put them together. All right, which one of these pictures could I use if I had 2 of these shapes? Okay, would it be this one or this one? You're right. It's going to be the first one. Good job. Now, boys and girls, look at this one. This isn't even a cube. It's a cylinder. So I definitely couldn't make this shape because I don't even have a cylinder in my hands. All right, good job. Now, for number 3, I need a rectangular prism and a cube. Now, to double those, the only ones that I have that match each other are these gargantuan blocks. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. So I have my rectangular prism and I have my cube. All right, remember we did this yesterday. It kind of looks like an exclamation point if I turn it this way. Okay, now I have built this shape. They're supposed to be stuck like glue. Okay, now if I have 2 of these, okay, and let's just pretend I do. You can't really see this because it needs to be up in the air more. Hold on. I'm sorry, boys and girls. This is not ideal for remote learning. All right, and I have another one, and I put them together like that. Now remember, I can manipulate this shape any way I want. I could stand it on top of it, okay? But I have to leave the rectangular prism and the cube stuck together. So if that's the case, which one of these shapes can I make with this shape doubled? Now remember, it doesn't matter if it's laying down or if it's standing up. You're right. I can make this shape because here's a cube stuck to a rectangular prism. Here's a cube stuck to a rectangular prism. Okay? This shape is not correct because I had to take the cubes off of the rectangular prism. All right, good job. Move all my big shapes out of the way. Look at the next page. Okay. It says build and repeat. All right, so this shape here on the bottom is a cylinder. Okay. And this one's a cone. Now remember, if I build this shape, it has to be like a house. It has to be stuck together. It has to be nailed together. It has to be stuck like glue, either one. If I repeated this 3 times, which shape could I make? I would need 3 cylinders and 3 cones. Could I make this shape or this? You're right. I would make this shape because I would have 3 lined up beside each other. Remember, they're stuck together like glue. I cannot take them apart. Good job. All right, my next one, I have a cylinder and a rectangular prism. So here's my shapes. I have a cylinder and I have a rectangular prism. Now, we are going to build this together, so we're going to pretend like we're putting super glue right here and gluing them together. Now, what kind of shape can I make if I repeated this exact shape 3 times? Would it be this picture or this picture? Remember, I cannot take these apart. They're glued together. Yes, it would be this second picture because it's like a pattern. I have cylinder, rectangular prism, cylinder, rectangular prism, cylinder, rectangular prism. Because remember, they're supposed to be stuck like glue. Good job. All right, and this last one, number 6. All right, I have a cube and I have a rectangular prism. Okay, now let's pretend that I'm building this actual shape. So that means I would have to stick them together like glue, nail them together, glue them together. Okay, kind of like we do the house. If I doubled, okay, which shape could I use? I have to have 2 cubes and 2 rectangular prisms. All right, let's look at this first one. I see this one shape here, but then I have a random rectangular prism stuck to it. Do I have another cube? Nope, that one wouldn't work. But look at this one. This one's fun. Let's pretend that I have, and I wish I had another one of these, but I don't. Okay, let's lay it down like this. Okay, these are stuck like glue. Remember, I cannot move them, but I can rotate them. So here is one rectangular prism and a cube. If I had another one and I flipped it, remember it's still stuck like glue, but if I flipped it this way and laid it on top, would that work? Yes, and I really wish, boys and girls, that I had another one of these, but I don't. I'm so sorry. All right, but this is the shape you can make, because remember, you can always rotate your shapes. You just can't take them apart. All right, good job. Let's look at number 7. This one's a think smarter question. Ooh, all right. Let's get it a little bit closer so you can see. All right. It says, look at the shape. Okay, here's the shape we're supposed to be looking at. How many rectangular prisms are used to make this shape? Now, I say rectangular prism because it is showing 2 cubes stuck like glue together to make one rectangular prism. Okay, so if I look at this picture, okay, I have 1 rectangular prism, 2 rectangular prism, 3 rectangular prisms. So how many rectangular prisms did it take to make this shape? Well, let's count them. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So it took 3 rectangular prisms to make that shape. And I actually have that many. So if that was a rectangular prism, and that was a rectangular prism, and this was a rectangular prism. Okay, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. Now, look at the next question. This time it says, but how many cubes are used to make this shape? Well, it took 2 cubes to make 1 rectangular prism. So there's 2. And then it took 2 more to make the second. So there's 2 plus 2 is 4. And it took 2 more cubes to make the third rectangular prism. So 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 more equals 6. So it took 6 cubes to make that shape. Great job, boys and girls. All right, if you turn the page with me, you're going to notice that this next page is a mid-chapter checkpoint, okay? We are already halfway through this very short chapter on 3-dimensional shapes. All right, so you remote learners, okay, this is what we're going to take for a grade. So I need you to do this page on your own, okay? All right, remember, we're talking about the different 3-dimensional shapes. For number 3, we're talking about how we can combine 2 shapes together. And then for problem number 4, if it gives you a shape and they pretend to be stuck like glue, which new shape can you make if you had 2 of these stuck like glue? Okay, remember, you cannot take your cube away from this short cylinder. They're stuck like glue. Okay, when you are finished with that, you're going to turn to the next page and do your homework on page 649 and 650. When you are finished with all of those 3 pages, the mid-chapter checkpoint and the homework page, I want you to take a picture of all 3 of those and submit to your teacher. All right, boys and girls, if you have any questions, contact your teacher. Have a great night.